Welcome to Expert SEM. Today we are going to see one concept called tracking signal. Of course, many of supply chain professionals, especially those who are in logistic domain, thought it is something to do with some traffic signal management. No, this is one of the error management in demand management, especially in the forecasting. As all of you know, we cannot do 100% perfect forecasting. There will be some error or a deviation. When we say error, it's a deviation from the actual. You do forecast some number, but actual is something different. Now the quality of forecasting only depends upon how far it is different from the forecast, how far the actuals are different from the forecast. If it is too away from the actual, then some corrective measure has to be done. So here we have to see some practical aspect, how this error is induced. Is it due to some random variation which cannot be controlled by human factor, or something induced by the people who are doing it or who are interested in using this forecast? So let us see some aspect of this. So tracking signal is related with the error management in the forecasting. Let me attach the screen. This is number 124. If you would like to see similar interesting topic, you can visit my YouTube channel where you can find all such topic. As we were seeing, the topic for the day is tracking signal, and this is related with demand forecasting. Forecast error has to be there. The fundamental principle of forecasting is there will be some error. How much error depends upon the method of forecasting and what are all the inputs you are taking. And if you are using only based on the data, it could be different. If somebody else is moderating, then it could be different. Definitely, when the forecasting people are reporting to sales or marketing, there is bound to be some kind of a moderation. I am not going to say that is a bias, but it's kind of a moderation. Technically we call that as a bias is nothing but somebody fine tuning it to favor their function or their interest. It may be putting something extra continuously, or reducing the forecast figure. So you will see that consistently there is a difference between the actual and the forecast. Either it can be positive or negative, but on one direction. If that is the case, it is called bias. Okay, it is man induced bias. This cannot be corrected. This cannot be corrected in the process, but it has to be dealt in a different way. On the other hand, if it is due to random variation, it will auto correct over a period because it is induced by the system or other parameters which are not directly under the control of forecaster. On the other hand, the bias is induced intentionally by the people who are interested in the forecast. So, how do you find out whether it is due to bias or random variation? That's where tracking signal comes into picture. Bias, as all of us know, it is very dangerous because based on the forecast, we are planning the material, and the inventory management will also happen as per that. If there is any problem, for example 20% more continuously over 3 months, 4 months, you are going to get wrong material. There are two possibility, whether either you are going to get the wrong material, or you are not getting the right material to the same extent or similar extent. If the forecast error is 20%, then 20% of the time you will have some excess material for some of the part code, and 20% of the item you may have shortage. So we need to identify this, whether it is due to bias or otherwise. So there is a formula statistically evolved, and this is called tracking signal. It is nothing but summation of actual minus forecast, which is nothing but the error. Summation of all the error over a period divided by mean absolute deviation. Okay, of course, we will see what is mean absolute deviation in some other session, but this is the way to calculate the technical tracking signal. And many of the organization keep a boundary to this tracking signal. This has to be, say, for example, within 3 or within 4, then we will say this forecast is okay, bias is under control. Otherwise we need to change. We have to find out why there is a reason for bias, why people are wrongly or intentionally introducing. I have used this tracking signal personally in my previous organization. We set a limit as tracking signal should be always within plus or minus 4. If it is exceeding that, then we have to change our method, including sometime even the person who is doing forecasting. So, if there is any question, you are welcome to ask me. Otherwise, you can also comment in LinkedIn or YouTube. There are a lot of viewers watching live. This is a forecasting subject. Even if you are in logistic, you should also know some of the forecasting method and what is the methods of measuring the error, what is bias, and what is random variation. Because nowadays logistic is also more integrated with core supply chain. So whenever you attend interview, you may get such a question and you are expected to answer it. If there are no questions, we will conclude. Thanks for watching. See you in the next session. Bye.